welcome back. Nigeria has a maximum crude oil production capacity of 2.5 million barrels per day, making it Africa's largest producer of oil and the sixth largest oil producing country in the world. However, statistics from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries shows that the country's oil output remains around 1.2 million and 1.4 million barrels per day, despite opportunities to churn out between 1.7 million and 1.5 million in quota during the year ending. Well, reports also indicate that the federal government lost 1.47 trillion naira to 222 terminal shutdowns in the first 10 months of last year. What's behind this? And was it costing Nigeria? We have Mr. Victor Ekpenyong, founder and chief executive officer of Kenyon International West Africa, to speak to this. Good morning, Mr. Ekpenyong. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning, madam. It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah. So we see here that the federal government lost a lot of money, almost 1.5 trillion naira, because of shutdowns. We have issues of vandalism. Just, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago in Nembe, we had a spill, you know. How much of a problem? Because at the end of the day, we don't meet up with the quota given to us by OPEC. How much of a problem are these to our crude oil production and, of course, the revenue of the country?
Oh, it's a very huge problem. Huge problem for us as a nation. Because if you look into our budget, when the federal government is preparing budget, they prepare budget based on some economic, variables. They look at how the budget is going to be funded. And in Nigeria, we fund our budget through the proceeds of oil. So if oil and gas is having an issue, maybe through production, transportation, or lifting, it actually going to affect us as a country. It's already going to affect our economics, and everything about us is going to be affected.
All right. So we've been talking a lot about vandalism, oil thefts, crossing the border, Um, and I think the government, they've been making some efforts. You are in, this sector. Tell us how much impact has the efforts of the government been?
Yeah, the government is trying their best to educate people about oil and gas asset. The need for us to protect our asset because oil and gas asset is our environment. But the government need to do more because whatever affect oil and gas actually is going to affect Nigeria at the moment because we don't have any other economic, like the agri and some other sectors that's just trying to come up.
Yes, we've been talking about diversification for a while.
Yeah. So the government need to do more, but I'm going to talk about the three, area of thing that the government can tackle this menace, this problem. So one is the government, two is the operators, and three is the host communities. So the government, in terms of because the governments are the regulators. So oil and gas licenses being given to investors. So investors come in, bring in their money, invest, and government has shares. Sometimes in some GV you have 60-40. So you now see, but there are regulators, which is before it was DPL now, Nigerian upstream companies. So now the DPLs need to come up with some policies. What are the policies? Policies like what is obtained in other countries. Like if you travel to a country like Malaysia, USA, and some other countries, you see that there is what we call idle well management plan. Because most of these vandalism you're hearing about today, most of them take place on wells that are idle. Because wells that are in production is actually being connected to the flow station. People are monitoring it, so whenever things are down, they will know. But wells that have been inherited from previous operators, you see they don't have, sometimes operators don't have much data. Maybe the pipeline was harvested, so they just leave the well, maybe thinking that maybe later we'll come back to the well to work on them. So those are most of the wells that you see vendors have access to them and try to steal whatever is the content. So now, what governments are doing outside Nigeria is to have a blueprint, is to have a plan. We call it idle well management plan. So That is the regulator. So they would tell all the operators, we want to see all your wells that I do. What are the plans you have for them? Do you want to bring them back to production? Do you want to temporarily abandon them? Or do you want to decommission them? So when these are being sent to the operator is going to send back the list of the wells. Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is I do. I plan to bring well 1, 2, 3 back to production, or I plan to temporarily abandon it. Maybe I want to do walkover and some other things to bring more production. Well, so I want to decommission it. So that is the area we need the regulator to come in. There has to be an enforcement so that people don't have access to this well. So the operators will be more responsible. So that now comes to the operator. Number 2, operators need to try as much as possible to be responsible in their wells, because industry best practices recommend that if you have a well that you are not, you know, producing, you should try as much as possible to secure it. You secure it subsurface and surface. So subsurface is where maybe you run in a plug. So whatever come down from downholes won't be able to have, come to the surface. Surface is just what you try to protect the integrity of what we call an expanse. So the operator also have a responsibility there. The last one is the community, the host community. The asset belongs to Nigeria. Like I said before, every oil and gas well drilled in Nigeria, government has percentage part of it, operators, and there are a lot of people that have interest. So the host community also need to protect this asset. This asset belongs to us. And who are the government? We are the government. We elect whosoever that represent us. We need to protect what belongs to us. Because if this thing continue the way they are, you are saying, there's going to be an economic shortfall. Federal government is going to look for more money to even clean
And
up the
then we'll borrow
environment,
more.
and we borrow more money, and as the case may be. So we need to come together. The government for more regulation and enforcement, the operators for being more responsible, and the host community.
Yeah, host communities. I mean, once you
Also
mentioned
happen.
host communities, we just get a picture of people who are not happy, who feel cheated out. I mean, I don't know if you saw the videos of, I think you were part of, dealing with the Nembe situation. The host communities are more like victims. So when you put responsibility on them, I mean, they're telling you, look, we're already being victimized. So how do you expect us to contribute, to this development?
Okay. We have been in well control for some years now. So it just the one that just happened recently, that because it was in the media, we have been tackling uh, blowout. And based on our experience, we discovered that blowout usually happen when some wells have been left unattended to, and people try to have access to the well, either to steal the contents or whatever that is in the well.
So that's like the idle well
The
that
idle
you
wells
mentioned
I made
earlier.
mention about. So now, where the host community come, I know they feel cheated. There is no problem, but there are other ways for you to channels your, your grievances and whatsoever. There are channels to do that. But when it comes to the environment, is your environment, is your waterways, is your land, is everything. So tomorrow the oil company will not be there. They are going to decommission. Okay, today now we are talking about transition. A time will come in Nigeria, you see that most of these wells, like you go into some platforms, you will not see anything. They're going to decommission them. So you're going to take responsibility about the environment. The environment belongs to you. You channel your grievances, some other ways you can know how
Okay.
to channel your
All right.
grievances.
So we also always hear of illegal modular refineries. And I think I've been a part of a conversation where we say, is there no way of channeling these modular refineries that have been tagged illegal into, economic benefits? Is there no way of doing that?
Yeah, I think some years ago I read, whether in the newspaper or so, when people were like trying to encourage the government, say, okay, if these people have the capability, if they have the technology to do this, why don't you, incorporate? Why don't you reach out to them? Why don't you see what we can do? At times I'm not in government, but I would think that There are some when you don't know people that are doing some kind of businesses, how would you help them? So I think if some people maybe will come up to say, ah, I'm into refinery, I need help, I need loan, I want to acquire more equipment, because what is going on in the illegal side of it is that is just damage to our environment. Like in Port
Yeah,
Harcourt, we
so
have been hearing of
a lot of them have been arrested. A lot of these modular refineries have been seized. I mean, can't we work from there?
I've not been to anyone before, so I don't know how it looked like, because I know before you cite a refinery, there is a lot of things that need to go
Yeah, it's always a
on
small thing,
to.
most of them in water.
So when you see things that are done manually, as a professionals, you will now look at how can I improve these. So there has to
Exactly.
be environmental impact assessment. There are things you need to do before you site a refinery. So I think that if some people can come up and approach government, say we have the technology to do ABC, we can actually do this. I'm not in government. I think maybe there is a way of two government can assist us.
Okay. So the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act, has been signed. What difference do you see it making to the industry?
Yeah, I watched the GMD sometime last year when he went to the US. He made some statement about the PIA. So, what I can say is this: we are about going into transition, moving from fossil fuel decarbonizations and a lot of things that is going on. So I think it was a wonderful and wonderful idea to enact this law, because when you're about to transition into cleaner energy,
Yeah.
you need investment, you need people to come in. And when you want to bring a visitor into your house, what are you going to do in your house? You try to tidy up the house to
So
make
the
sure that
PIA will help us tidy up.
So if you check, the PI is all about transparency. It's all about, do you want to invest in Nigeria? Nigeria is a place you can come, invest, and you'll get your return of investment. So the PIA is going to help investors to come in. And you see, the NNPC is trying to focus on gas, because gas is the future. So if you are coming into Nigeria to invest in gas and to see how to boost Nigeria economy, that means that the PIA is going to assist you. It's going to help you. It's going to tidy up the system. It's going to make the system more transparent, so that whatever you invest, you can have return of your investment. I think that is what the PIA is all about, in my
And
own perspective.
all right, thank you so much, Mr. Victor Ekpenyong, Chief Executive Officer of Kenyon International West Africa, for
Thank
sharing
you.
your thoughts with us.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me here.
thank you. And
Thanks.
we do hope at least dealing with the idle wells will be one message that goes out from this conversation.
Just didn't need
All right.
to look into it.
Okay, thank you. So enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, man.